And we're live. People take time off and it crushes their career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's got this.
So it's true with a lot of YouTube careers as well.
Yeah, right. It's partly the algorithm. I don't know if it's the videos. I think people like lose their addiction to that guy. That's my theory on it. You know, even just a couple of weeks, people can get out of the rhythm of seeing you, and
exactly
don't come back.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was thinking YouTube. A lot of people get YouTube success, and I feel like it ruins them, right? Like I'm gonna call him out again. X-Jaws, right? I don't know if you guys know X-Jaws. He was about 16 years old, getting like $50,000 checks, or at least one. And I think X-Jaws never does YouTube. He's a college graduate today, right? Now he's kind of figuring out where he lands in life. And there are a lot of people, but not just on YouTube, but lottery winners have like a really high felony rate, homicide rate compared to the general population. It's like, why is winning the lottery having such a bad impact on you? You give people a taste of that sweetness of success or money or whatever, and they can't go back to being the old them. And I don't know. Like, you drain my bank account and I'm like, fuck, how would I do if I worked whatever 40, 60 hours a week at a regular job now? Like,
right.
Have I been ruined too? Maybe.
I think that's a great conversation piece as to, YouTube had placed a lot of us financially in a spot where thinking of a regular 40-hour a week job or that 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, you can't go back, to whatever minimum wage is at this point, because you've been thrown so much money that most doctors and lawyers can't possibly make. Can you actually mentally go back to, $10, $12 an hour job and still maintain your life?
And I guess, I'm a slightly different league in that I certainly haven't I'm certainly not making money like you're describing, but even the passion of it, right? Like, I'm doing something this many hours a week that I love. And I would have a hard time going back to something that I was spending as many, if not more, hours doing that I was only doing for a paycheck, or was doing that I might enjoy from time to time, but didn't have that same passion for. I don't know how to switch back even to that. I think would be very challenging.
It was like, I didn't know that people could do things that they just wanted to do, that people could
Right.
have their own schedule or own their own time. Like, there was a point where at Cisco, I worked in a cube farm, right? I literally stood on my office chair and looked at the sea of cubes going out from both sides of me. And it was like, these people don't even know. They don't even know. They just come here, sit in their cube every day like bio robots and work. And I do that too. For 13 years, I did that. At Cisco, 18, 20 years. I don't know how long, if you include the other jobs. And it was like, wowzers. Like, there's more to this. Like, you don't have to just sit in this cube. And my cube was so, like, I dressed mine up, but the cube itself, why would you make a cube dishwater gray? Right? Why would you make a cube dishwater gray? And I just sat there all the time doing my thing. And it would be hard. Like, I just imagine, right? My bank account's drained tomorrow and I go for a regular job. Like, it wasn't on my terms, right? If I did it because I wanted something to do, that'd be different. But if it was like a have to do and I went in there, like, it would just be like soul sucking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it ruins you.
So we hear you guys are giving examples of people who have been basically, I assume, who had large YouTubes and that has died down and they're not knowing what the fuck to do. Do we have any counter examples? People with YouTubes who have like fallen the fuck apart and now are doing something like a non content producing job and happy with it? Do we know any of these? Like, if we're looking just for, I don't.
I personally, I don't know anybody.
Yeah, it feels like the lottery, where they drop a success on you, and then it's hard to be a regular person again. And there's so many lottery winners say, you know what, I'm not going to change one bit. I'll go from single to double wide, but otherwise I'm just going to stay me. And they don't.
Some of them don't even go to the double wide.
All I've ever seen were content creators mentally breaking down as, you know, the money wasn't coming in the way it once was, and putting out videos where you just see them breaking down, or you see them in person, just tucked in the darkness. Like life has now discontinued because the money isn't coming in the same. You can always go back to a regular life.
Well, that's what we're just talking
The
about.
life hasn't left. It's always been there. Your life just changed, but you can always go back to humble beginnings. It's not difficult.
That was my plan. That was plan A. People have heard me say this before. I envisioned it being like a low-level pro golfer, right? That was my thought process. I was like, I'm going to take this ride. It's going to last 3 to 5 years. And at the end of it, I'll go back to work. It'll probably set my career back a little bit. You know, there'll be a gap in it, just like, I don't know, raising your kids to kindergarten, set your career back a little bit. But I don't think I'll regret it. Just like a pro golfer. Like, yeah, you know, I spent 3 to 5 years doing this, living my version of a dream. And now, and by the way, you know, like while the career might be set back, the money situation in general is probably ahead of where it would have been, fast forwarded. And now here I am back at work. And I don't regret being a pro golfer at all. And that was what I thought it was going to be. That
for you guys, was it? I don't know either of your stories with that or Kyle's story on this. Was it fairly abrupt, the change in income, or was it gradual? So did you build up to where you was, or was it kind of leaps and bounds for the subscriber base for you guys? For your viewers?
The build up?
Yeah.
It was gradual, but like it wasn't linear. It was exponential almost, right? So
okay.
I don't know. Right out of the gate, I got to like 3,000 subs or something right away. And I think I went from like 8,000 to 18,000 when I put a video on Hutch's channel. Like, I don't know if you know Hutch. He was a Call of Duty, like the legend of Call of Duty. And we were going to do a dual com, and then I think he just didn't have enthusiasm for it or anything. But he's like, I'll still come through for you. He gave me his password to his YouTube channel. It was like, I often, it was like having Odin's lightning bolt or something. Like if I just liked someone's video and it went out to his people, it would change lives. But I never
the nuclear launch codes.
Yeah, I never did anything inappropriate with it. I just uploaded my video. I did what I wanted me to do, and I put a video on my channel, and people liked it, and it went well. And I went from 8,000 to 18,000, and then I went from there to over 1 million, like without a dual com of anyone bigger than me. Like that was the last time I was the receiver. And
what type of time frame?
I'm not positive. It might have been 2 years, something like that. And you know, like as you know, like it takes some period of time to go to 100,000, then that same period of time to go to 200, and then that same period of time to go to 400, and then to 800, 800,000. And you know, it just, I went to about, I think I had 1.2 million at my peak. And then for me, what happened was, like, my videos were doing well, but I could see I was on the second half of the bell curve, right? You know, whereas my videos were getting, like, I uploaded twice a day. And I would get like 150 to 200,000 views a video. And then that started shifting to like 100 to 150. And it's like, all right, this ride's not over, right? I'm still putting up 2 6-digit videos a day, but the writing's on the wall, right? I can see in the direction that this is headed. So that's when Woodycraft started up. And that Woodycraft is a Minecraft server. And I started that and worked super hard at it, you know. And at the time I was still doing YouTube videos, but I had Woodycraft going, and I was just working every hour is awake, you know. Sometimes I'd sleep 4 hours, sometimes I'd sleep 6, but the other hours in the day were all working. You know, I just never left. You know, I installed a monitor over our bed so I could see the status of our servers, and if any of them turned red, I'd just get up in the middle of the night and go. And I had like one eye on it even when I was sleeping, and worked constantly. But that thing was wildly successful. Like, even in, I forget the time frame, you know, within 6 months, it was one of the top servers in the world. And you talked about income levels. I think it was even higher than my YouTube was. And so that thing went on. And then I probably held on to that deeper into the bell curve than I did my YouTube channel. You know, I was getting, at max, I'd have, well, I don't know, over 3,000, like 3,500, 3,200 players on the server at one time. And that number drained all the way down to like a good daily max would be like 400. And it's like, well, writing's on the wall for this one too. So we stopped selling things, but we kept the server going. So anyone who bought something would get their value out of it. That was like the thought process. And we just kept it going and going. And then eventually shut the servers down one by one and wrapped it up. And, but by the time that whole ride was over, you know, I had saved a lot of money. So that's where we are now.
I guess I was kind of wondering about the trajectory of it all. So, I mean, if we're talking like these horror stories of like, you know, win the lottery and their life falls apart 6 months later or a year or a couple years later, I wonder about the suddenness of the change.
For
versus,
me, I feel like there were a couple things that helped me. One, I was older. You know, if you drop that kind of success on 16-year-old Woody, like there's no telling what I would get into. I was pretty stupid. And it'd probably be dumber than X Jaws ever was. Yeah. And so that the part of it, I was older. Part of it is I had flirtations with it before, and it wasn't even my fault, but I had Cisco stock options. And I don't know if people know, but Cisco was like the Apple of its day. Like it was the second most valued company on the planet. And, you know, during that .com boom, Cisco was like the big winner out of it all. And I had a lot of stock options from it. And I wasn't a millionaire or anything, but I was like a multi-100,000-aire. But I wasn't vested yet, so I couldn't even cash out. And these are jokes. All right. Anyway, I wasn't vested. And when Cisco stock tanked, so did my potential net worth. And I don't know, something about that experience, like my little brush with doing well, was maybe a learning experience for my second time around. That helped.
Yeah. I know we're close to time, but I kind of wanted to hear from Dame too, just on that thought. Because I mean, I don't know a lot about your channel. It sounds like you've been going for quite a long time with some of the stuff we've been linking earlier today.
Yeah,
but
I've been running for over 8 years. Haven't reached the success level of FPS Russia or even a Woody Gamer tag. I was able to brand myself outside of YouTube early through the food reviews because I literally was the first creator to do in-car fast food reviews. Now there's just a whole bunch of us. But right around the time when my video first went viral, it was like only a few months after that when Dr. Roz's people reached out. So that was the first TV show that I was on. I did 2 episodes with Dr. Roz. Right around the second episode is when Jimmy Fallon's people reached out. That's before he took over for Jay Leno. So I did 2 episodes on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. It was 2 exclusives. One was with McDonald's McRib, and the other one was like for Valentine's Day. I had to review a box of chocolates. But literally that second episode that I did with Jimmy is when Rachel Ray's people found me. And the only difference was Rachel Ray actually signed me. So I'm still with the Rachel Ray show. I've been with her for 3 seasons now. So all my stuff was able to translate over, I guess, to the television side of things. I ended up with a TV show, Best Dame Takeout, and did that back in 2013. Did a few other pilots. Of course, when I was telling you earlier, Woody, about, you know, Facebook Watch, I ended up doing a show called Taste Buds on there, like 6 episodes with First We Feast and Complex, which of course run the show Hot Ones, which is real major with Sean Evans on YouTube now. So YouTube is still, you know, my day-to-day flow, but I continue to have things going on outside of YouTube. Picked up multiple sponsorships that I still run through. Just knocked out 4 in the month of January. I'll be doing some work with NASCAR actually this month, and with the first Black NASCAR driver, Bubba. Come to find out he's an actual fan of my food reviews. You
Nice.
know, cool. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And that, you know, things just kind of keep flowing along, and folks still keep finding me on YouTube.
Is YouTube your biggest single source of income, or is it outside YouTube?
Shit. I would still say that YouTube still would be the biggest.
The biggest single.
Outside of YouTube is starting to catch up and soon overlap, but YouTube's still the biggest.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to, because you got a lot of. It's nice to have a diverse income like that, you know. If any one of those drops off, your life carries on.
You got to meet Rachel Ray, huh? I mean, that seems like a stupid question, but.
Oh, what'd you say, Kyle? What was that?
Did you get to meet Rachel Ray in person and everything?
Yeah. We actually work together, like in studio.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So what happens is, what I'll do, I'll go out, you know, in the field first, and I'll film whatever. Like I remember I did stuff with a big mozzarella in New York. So I was actually making the mozzarella, rolling up the balls, all that good stuff. But the following days, I brought the guy with me back into the studios, and we were in there with Rachel Ray, showing how we made the mozzarella and all the good stuff. That's how it always works. She'll send me to like the Jets game. I came out with a few Jets players, brought them back to the studio. So it's always something different. I even remember going to etiquette school in New York. Rather interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Is that the biggest celebrity you've ever met, or is there?
Yes. Yeah, I met some other individuals, but yeah, Rachel Ray, she's the biggest.